me? Yo, no me? I'm back again. Listen, hey guys, welcome to the channel. In this video is my Premier League predictions. Game week 16. Game week 15 was a dramatic weekend full of interesting results. Liverpool went to the Ellen Road and got a 3-3 dramatic draw against Leeds United. After 18 consecutive games in all competition, Arsenal ended up losing by 2-1 against Aston Villa at the Villa Park in game week 15. Chelsea also went to the Vitality Stadium and got a very difficult 0-0 draw against AFC Bournemouth in game week 15. Going into this game week 16, I'm looking out for spot on predictions. My name is Andy Final. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment your thoughts and your predictions at the comment section. Yes, I missed out on game week 15 video. I lost my voice and I'm now recovering. I was finding it difficult to record a video for game week 15, but now I'm back again. Actually, you can hear me loud and clear. I'm back on the screen, and this video is my predictions for game week 16. So stick with me to the end of this video and you're going to know my interesting picks. Without wasting much of your time, let's get started with the game week 16 predictions. Yeah, so starting off the game week 16 Premier League predictions at the Stamford Bridge in London is between Chelsea versus Everton. This is going to be a very interesting game coming up in Premier League game week 16. Talking about Chelsea, last 3 games in the Premier League, they've managed to pick only 2 points out of the 3 games. They got a 1-1 draw against Arsenal, lost 3-1 against Leeds United, and while in game week 15 also got a 0-0 draw against AFC Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium in game week 15. Going into this game week 16 against Everton side, who also in game week 15 secure a 3-0 victory over Nottingham Forest in game week 15. Looking at the Premier League standings as it stands in game week 15, while Chelsea at the moment, they are 5th on the Premier League table with 25 points plus of 10 goals. Talking about Everton, they are also 7th on the league table with 24 points plus of 1 goal. What is my score prediction, or what do I think is going to happen at the Stamford Bridge coming up in game week 16? Chelsea hosting Everton. Well, I think this is a game that Chelsea must try their possible way to get all the 3 maximum points, because in their last games in the Premier League, they have not been impressive. But while going to this game, I'm tipping Chelsea to get a win over Everton. What is my score prediction? I'm predicting Chelsea to get a 3-1 victory over Everton. Chelsea 3, Everton 1. Oh yes, moving on to the next game at Anfield in game week 16 is between Liverpool versus Brighton. This is going to be one of the interesting games coming up in Premier League game week 16. Talking about Liverpool and Mohamed Salah. Last season it was obvious Mohamed Salah was the reason why Liverpool and Arne Slot won the league. And well, this time around, after bringing in the likes of Hugo Ekitike, Florian Wirtz, and even Alexander Isak, I mean, Liverpool spent a lot in the transfer window. Now that the team is not performing, they are trying to put the blame on Mohamed Salah that he is the problem. And well, as you already, Salah made an interview and he said probably this game that's coming up at the Anfield, Liverpool versus Brighton, might be his last game for Liverpool. And well, to me, even though I'm not a Liverpool fan, but I'm disappointed with how things are going with Liverpool and Mohamed Salah, because this guy is a club legend, for Christ's sake. Looking at his history, looking at past history, how he has performed for Liverpool since 2018 that he joined the club. He has not been nothing but exceptional and a phenomenal player for Liverpool. So I don't like how things are going to end up between Liverpool and Mohamed Salah. This was the same situation what happened between Manchester United and Cristiano Ronaldo. They end up putting the blame on Ronaldo, not knowing Ten Hag was the problem. This is the same situation. They are pushing blames on Mohamed Salah, whilst Arne Slot is the main problem. He's the problem that Liverpool is not winning games. But while they are pushing blames on him, Liverpool going to this game at Anfield against Brighton in game week 16. What do I think is going to happen? In game week 15, Liverpool went to the Elland Road and they got a 3-3 draw against Leeds United, which it was a very dramatic game. But talking about Brighton too, in game week 15 got a 1-1 draw against West Ham United at the Amex Stadium. Looking at both teams on the league table as it stands in game week 15, Brighton at the moment, they are 8th on the league table with 23 points plus of 4 goals. Talking about Liverpool, they are also 10th on the league table with 23 plus of 0 goal as it stands in game week 15. What is my score prediction going to this game at the Anfield coming up in game week 16? Well, I'm tipping Brighton to get a narrow victory over Liverpool because Liverpool at the moment, they are in crisis, and last season even they were not in crisis. You see how they struggled to play against Brighton. And going to this game, I'm tipping Brighton to get a win over Liverpool. My score prediction in this game is going to be a 2-1 victory for Brighton. Brighton 2, Liverpool 1. Moving on to the next game at the Telford Mall in game week 16 is between Burnley versus Fulham. This is going to be one of the difficult games coming up in game week 16. Burnley hosting Fulham at the Telford Mall coming up game week 16. Talking about Burnley, in game week 15 they lost 2-1 to Newcastle at the St. James Park in game week 15. Whilst Fulham 2 at home lost 2-1 to Crystal Palace in the London Derby in game week 15. Right now, looking at both teams on the league table as it stands in game week 15. Fulham at the moment, they are 15th on the league table, 17 points minus of 4 goals. Talking about Burnley, they are 19th on the league table with just 10 points minus of 14 goals. What is my score prediction going to this game in game week 16 at the Telford Mall? Can Burnley manage to get results against Fulham? Probably yes. I'm predicting this game to end in a draw. My score prediction in this game is going to be a 1-1 draw. Burnley 1, Fulham 1. Moving on to the next game in North London at the Emirates Stadium is between Arsenal versus Wolves. This is going to be an interesting game. After 18 consecutive games that Arsenal went unbeaten in all competitions, they end up losing 2-1 to Aston Villa at the Villa Park in game week 15 in the Premier League. Talking about Wolves, also in game week 15, they lost 4-1 at home to Manchester United. And right now, looking at both teams on the league table, Arsenal is now leading the Premier League table with just 33 points plus of 19 goals as it stands in game week 15. Talking about Wolves, they are also at the bottom 20th position on the league table as it stands in game week 15 with just 2 points minus of 25 goals as it stands in game week 15. What is my score prediction going to this game? Can Arsenal bounce back after that heartbreaking result at the Villa Park? In 9 minutes of the game, Villa got that winner and secured all that 3 maximum points away from Arsenal. Well, I predicted that Arsenal was going to struggle. I mean, if you watch my previous videos that I did about the next 5 games that Arsenal was going to play against Tottenham, against Chelsea, against Brentford, and against Aston Villa, I predicted that Arsenal was going to draw against Chelsea, win against Spurs. The one game that I predicted was a double chance was the game against Brentford, and that one they got job done, winning by 2-0. And this one against Aston Villa 2 was one that I predicted that it was going to be a draw or a win for Aston Villa, and well, they got it spot on over there. What do I think is going to happen in game week 16 at the Emirates Stadium, Arsenal hosting Wolves? Well, I'm predicting Arsenal to bounce back from that loss. My score prediction in this game is going to be a 3-0 victory for Arsenal. Arsenal 3, Wolves 0. Moving on to the next game at the Selhurst Park in game week 16 is between Crystal Palace versus Manchester City. Going into this game in game week 16 is going to be one of the most difficult games to predict. Right now, looking at both teams, in game week 15, Crystal Palace managed to get a 2-1 victory over Fulham in the London Derby, whilst Manchester City 2 at home got a 3-0 victory over new promoted side Sunderland, who this season they have been on an impressive run. But well, in game week 15, they lost against Manchester City. Going into this game in game week 16, looking at the standings as it stands right now, City is now second on the league table with 31 points plus of 19 goals. Talking about Crystal Palace, they are now 4th on the league table with 26 points as of 8 goals assistance in game week 15. What is my score prediction going into this game at the Selhurst Park coming up in game week 16? Well, I know Crystal Palace over the years, they have been a tough opponent, and mostly Manchester City struggled to get results against Crystal Palace. Last season they lost, and this season I think is going to be a very difficult one for both teams. That's why we all know how Crystal Palace set up against all these top 6 opponents, and they struggle at the Selhurst Park. It is only Manchester United who managed to get victory over Crystal Palace among all the top 6 teams. So I think right now, looking at the standings, how Manchester City is now also picking up momentum, trying to challenge Arsenal with the title race. So this is going to be a very difficult game to call, and I'm predicting this game to end in a draw. My score prediction in this game is going to be a 2-2 draw. Crystal Palace 2, Manchester City 2. Moving on to the next game at the City Ground in game week 16 is between Nottingham Forest versus Tottenham Hotspur. This is going to be a classic game coming up in game week 16. Talking about Tottenham Hotspur. In game week 15, they managed to get a 2-0 victory in the London derby against Brentford in game week 15. And right now, Xavi Simons in that game got an assist and a goal, and I think he's now finding his feet in the Premier League. Going into this game against Nottingham Forest side, who also in game week 15 lost 3-0, is going to be a very difficult game coming up at the City Ground in game week 16. I think with how things are going, looking at both teams on the league table as it stands in game week 15, Tottenham Hotspur is now 11th on the league table with 22 points plus of 7 goals. Talking about Nottingham Forest, they are also 17th on the league table with 15 points minus of 11 goals as it stands in game week 15. What is my score prediction going into this game at the City Ground coming up in game week 16? Well, I'm predicting Tottenham Hotspur to get a result over Nottingham Forest in game week 16. My score prediction in this game is going to be a 2-1 victory for Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Nottingham Forest 1. Moving on to the next game at the Stadium of Light in game week 16 is between Sunderland versus Newcastle United. This is going to be an interesting game coming up in game week 16. Sunderland, the Black Cat, going to face the Magpies, and this is going to be a classic game. Talking about Newcastle United, in game week 15 managed to get a 2-1 victory, and while going to this game against Sunderland team, who also in game week 15 lost at the Etihad by 3-0 against Manchester City. This is going to be a classic game coming up at the Stadium of Light. Looking at both teams on the league table as it stands in game week 15, Sunderland is now 9th on the league table with 23 points plus of 1 goal. Talking about Newcastle, they are also 12th on the league table with 22 points plus of 2 goals as it stands in game week 15. What is my score predictions going into this game at the Stadium of Light coming up in game week 16? Well, I'm predicting this game to end in a draw. My score prediction is going to be a 2-2 draw. Sunderland 2, Newcastle United 2. Moving on to the next game in London at the London Stadium is between West Ham United versus Aston Villa. This is going to be one of the dramatic games coming up in game week 16. West Ham United hosting Aston Villa at the London Stadium. Talking about this game, in game week 15, Aston Villa managed to get a 2-1 dramatic victory over the league leaders Arsenal at the Villa Park in game week 15. Whilst West Ham United also went to the Amex Stadium and they got a 1-1 draw against Brighton in game week 15. Looking at both teams on the league table as it stands in game week 15, Aston Villa at the moment, they are 3rd on the league table with 30 points plus of 7 goals. Talking about West Ham United, they are also 18th on the league table with 13 points minus of 12 goals as it stands in game week 15. What is my score prediction going into this game at London Stadium coming up in game 16? Well, I'm predicting Aston Villa to get a victory over West Ham United because Aston Villa in their last 8 games in the league have only lost 1 game, and that game that they lost was against Liverpool. And well, I'm not shocked, I'm not mesmerized that they have been on this good run because they didn't start well this season. They had a couple of draws, couple of losses in their first 4 games of the season, but well, after that they've bounced back and they start winning games with Unai Emery. Their last game that they played was against Arsenal, which it was massive how they were able to attack Arsenal and they got that winner. Last minute winner was marvelous. What is my score prediction going to this game at the London Stadium? Well, I'm predicting Aston Villa to get a 2-1 victory over West Ham United. Aston Villa 2, West Ham United 1. But I will not be shocked if this game also ends in a draw. Moving on to the next game at the GTEC Community Stadium in game week 16 is between Brentford versus Leeds United. This is going to be one of the most interesting games coming up in game week 16. Brentford at the GTEC Community Stadium hosting Leeds United, who is a new promoted side. Well, talking about Brentford, in the last game they played in the Premier League, went to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the London Derby and they lost by 2-0 against Tottenham Hotspur. Talking about Leeds United in game week 15, also at home at the Elland Road, got a 3-3 draw against the Premier League champions Liverpool, which was very dramatic in that game. Well, what do I think is going to happen at the GTEC Community Stadium? Right now, looking at the league table, as it stands, Brentford, they are now 14th on the league table with 19 points minus of 3 goals. Talking about Leeds United, they are also 16th on the Premier League table with 15 points minus of 10 goals as it stands in game week 15. What is my score prediction going to this game at the GTEC Community Stadium? Well, I'm predicting Brentford to get a victory over Leeds United. My score prediction is going to be a 2-0 victory for Brentford. Brentford 2, Leeds United 0. Moving on to the last game in game week 16 in the Premier League is going to be at the Old Trafford Stadium in Manchester. It's between Manchester United versus AFC Bournemouth. This is going to be one of the most difficult games to call coming up in Premier League game week 16. Talking about Manchester United, in game week 15 managed to get a 4-1 victory over Wolves at the Molineux Stadium in game week 15. Well, AFC Bournemouth also in game week 15 managed to get a 0-0 draw against Chelsea at the Vitality Stadium in game week 15. Looking at both teams on the league table as it stands in game week 15, right now Manchester United is now sit on the Premier League table with 25 points plus of 4 goals. Talking about AFC Bournemouth, they are also now 13th on the league table with 20 points minus of 3 goals, and it's only 5 points difference between AFC Bournemouth and Manchester United. Somebody will say, oh, Manchester United playing Bournemouth, Bournemouth is a small team, or Bournemouth is not a tough opponent. But let me tell you, Manchester United in their last 3 games that they played against AFC Bournemouth in the Premier League has not been an easy game for Manchester United. And right now, looking at both teams, Manchester United being on a good run, winning against Wolves, which was expected, and Bournemouth also in their last 5 games, they have not been on a good run. So I think this is a good time for Manchester United to play against Bournemouth and get a result, because this Bournemouth team has sit on Manchester United happiness over the past 3-4 years. So I will not be happy if Manchester United even get a draw against Bournemouth. I'm predicting United to get a victory over AFC Bournemouth. But well, I can be shocked and I can be surprised. But well, I'm predicting United to get a 2-1 victory over AFC Bournemouth. But I will not be shocked if Bournemouth end up winning this game. But my score prediction is a 2-1 victory for Manchester United. So this has been my prediction for Premier League game week 16. My name is Andy Final. Let me know your predictions at the comment section. Like this video, comment your thoughts and your minds at the comment section, and I'll be there to react with you. Till we meet in another video. Bye bye for now.